Chapter 21. Mom, you don't understand. I can't go. Lucy, I'm not giving you a choice. You're going, and that's that. It was the next afternoon, a stormy gray day, and Mom and I were in the kitchen arguing. I was trying to tell her there was no way I could go to my Reading Rangers meeting at the library, and she was insisting that I had to go. Mom, you've got to believe me, I pleaded. I was trying not to whine, but my voice kept creeping higher and higher. Mr. Mortman is a monster. I can't go to the library anymore. Mom made a disgusted face and tossed down the dish towel she'd been folding. Lucy, your father and I have had it up to here with your silly monster stories. She turned to face me. Her expression was angry. The fact is, Lucy dear, that you are a quitter. You never stick with anything. You're lazy. That's your problem. Mr. Mortman is a monster, I interrupted. That's my problem. Well, I don't care, Mom replied sharply. You're not quitting Reading Rangers. You're going to your appointment this afternoon if I have to take you by the hand and walk you there myself. Gee, would you? I asked. The idea flashed into my head that Mom could hide in the stacks and see for herself when Mr. Mortman turned into a monster, but I guess she thought I was being sarcastic. She just scowled and walked out of the kitchen, and so an hour later I was trudging up the stone steps to the old library. It was raining hard, but I didn't take an umbrella. I didn't care if I got drenched. My hair was soaked and matted on my head. I shook my head hard as I stepped into the entryway, sending drops of water flying in all directions. I shivered more from my fear from being back in this frightening place than from the cold. I pulled off my backpack. It was dripping wet, too. How can I face Mr. Mortman? I wondered as I made my way reluctantly into the main reading room. How can I face him after last night? He must surely suspect that I know his secret. He couldn't have believed me last night, could he? I was so furious at my mom for forcing me to come here. I hope he turns into a monster and chews me to bits, I thought bitterly. That will really teach Mom a lesson. I pictured Mom and Dad and Randy sitting mournfully in our living room, crying their eyes out, wailing, "If only we had believed her. If only we had listened." Holding my wet backpack in front of me like a shield, I made my way slowly past the long rows of books to the front of the room. To my relief, there were several people in the library. I saw 2 little kids with their mothers, and a couple of other women browsing in the mystery book section. Great, I thought, starting to feel a little calmer. Mr. Mortman won't dare do anything while the library is filled with people. The librarian was dressed in a green turtleneck today, which really made him look like a big, round turtle. He was stamping a stack of books and didn't look up as I stepped close to the desk. I cleared my throat nervously. "Mr. Mortman?" It took him a while long to look up. When he finally did, a warm smile formed above his chins. "Hi, Lucy. Give me a few minutes, okay?" "Sure," I said. "I'll go dry off." He seems very friendly, I thought, heading over to a chair at one of the long tables. He doesn't seem angry at all. Maybe he really did believe my story last night. Maybe he really doesn't know that I've seen him turn into a monster. Maybe I'll get out of here alive. I sat down at the table and shook some more water from my hair. I stared at the big, round wall clock nervously, waiting for him to call me up for our meeting. The clock ticked noisily. Each second seemed to take a minute. The kids with their mothers checked out some books and left. I turned to the mystery section and saw that the 2 women had also cleared out. The librarian and I were the only ones left. Mr. Mortman shoved a stack of books across his desk and stood up. "I'll be right back, Lucy," he said, another friendly, reassuring smile on his face. "Then we'll have our meeting." He stepped away from his desk and, walking briskly, headed to the back of the reading room. I guessed he was going to the bathroom or something. A jagged flash of white lightning flickered across the dark sky outside the window. It was followed by a drum roll of thunder. I stood up from the table and, carrying my wet backpack by the straps, started toward Mr. Mortman's desk. I was halfway to the desk when I heard the loud click. I knew at once that he had locked the front door. A few seconds later he returned, walking briskly, still smiling. He was rubbing his pudgy white hands together as he walked. "Shall we talk about your book?" he asked, stepping up to me. "Mr. Mortman, you locked the front door," I said, swallowing hard. His face didn't fade. His dark little eyes locked on mine. "Yes, of course," he said softly, studying my face. His hands were still clasped together in front of him. "But why?" I stammered. He brought his face close to mine, and his smile faded. "I know why you were at my house last night," he growled into my ear. "I know everything." "But, Mr. Mortman, I'm sorry," he said in his throaty growl, "but I can't let you leave, Lucy. I can't let you leave the library."